Hi guys, welcome to another KamicarzCreation video. Back working on the 1G. I'm looking at the insignia on the front of the motor, and in my camera it's backwards. I think that freaked a few people out before. But yeah, working on the 1G, putting the fluid system back together on it. I finally got those parts welded up. A part that I got off Dave's engine that I went up and bought out of the top end of Queensland, up above Brisbane there, and I still had to get a little lug welded on it where the top thermostat housing cap bolts on, but I've done that, and I'll show you the process of drilling and tapping that out, and then it can all fit up and all the water lines fit up to the other side of the engine. So I'll show you how that all works, and we'll get into it. This is the lower thermostat housing that I got off David, off the spare motor that I bought. And I've had that lug aluminium welded on. And I'm just going to file it down now and match it up with the cap. And drill and tap the hole. And I should be good to go. That's been a long time coming. I've been a bit slack and haven't worked on it much lately. But looking forward to getting this part mounted on. This was the original one that came off the car, and I got it welded up too, hoping to have a spare, but it's pretty ugly. And if you, I don't know if you can see down inside, it doesn't have a really good finish inside, and that's got a seal. You can see that crack running down the inside there. That's got a seal on the O-ring and the little pipe that comes out, and I don't think it's got any chance of doing that, so I'm glad I've got the other one. So once I've got this finished off, I'll line this up and use it as a gauge to drill this hole, and then tap it, and she should be good to go with a new gasket and a new thermostat. So that's the first phase done. It's not a bad finish. I haven't blown all the dust out of it yet, but I've got it looking nice and flat, and ready to be set up and drilled and tapped, and I'm good. It's been a long time waiting for that to be done. I've just set up to drill this hole out where I had the little lug welded back on, so I mounted on the top thermostat housing. It's a 6mm thread in either side, so I've just clamped that on there. Used a little bit of kerosene, and I've just run a drill down to put a dimple in it, and now I'll take it off and drill it through. So there's the little dimple, and now I'll run that through and put a thread in it. So I've run that hole down through there, and now I'll run the 6mm tap in there, and she should be good to bolt on. I'm just using one of these thermostat housings to make a couple of gaskets, so just traced around the outside and then transferred a few measurements so that I can actually fit this up to the engine. So I'm not far off putting this onto the engine now. A little bit of gasket goo. The gaskets are made. These little wad punches are absolutely brilliant. Inherited those off my father-in-law. And they used to be something I remembered in the trade, but great to have them in my toolkit to knock out a few of those holes. but there's those gaskets made up and ready to fit up. This is the actual housing that I'm going to use, which has all been fixed up with that little welded lug on there. I can now put the top thermostat housing on. So time to fit it up. Woohoo! So that's a big milestone, getting that thermostat housing welded up, getting that lug on so I can get this top thermostat housing on. It has been a huge milestone, and I've now sealed it off using those gaskets and a little bit of that blue gasket compound. So now I'll go and find these pipes that run up to the back of the engine and fit those up. So a little bit of progress on the motor after a long time. It's been a long time coming, but that's been great to get that on there. And I've just done the same sort of process making gaskets up, and you can see the gasket goo there. No wonder you lose 10mm sockets. There it is sitting there. But the water lines, and these water lines basically run up. They used to go a few places, but basically into the heater core. And a few of the other pipes coming off there will be disabled or plugged up. But that's awesome. Got that whole fluid system on that side of the motor now. Great progress. Had a few deliveries today, which is exciting. This is an intercooler and an aluminium radiator for the Celica. So I'll have to go and visit the car and work out a few things about how to fit these up. And while it's in the disassembly stage, just look at getting some brackets made up to especially get the intercooler mounted in the right place. So I can put all of the grille and bumper and chin in place as well. So good timing. So there they are out of their packaging. There's the radiator and the intercooler. This isn't the intercooler I planned to get. The one I ordered, they told me was out of stock. I did order one that wasn't as wide as that. I was basically going with the same volume and same sort of physical size as the original one on the 1G motor. And that one still complies. It's just a lot wider than I expected. So hopefully it fits. If not, it wasn't super expensive anyway. Very happy with the radiator. Again, it's a 3-core aluminium radiator. Again, not sure about the fitment and the space in front of the motor. I did have thermo fans running on the inside of the radiator before, but I'm planning on running the original clutch fan, which came with the spare motor that I got off David up in Queensland. So guys, absolutely stoked with that progress on those water pipes you can see there. They're running up the back of the motor again and hopefully all sealed up. That's good progress. The car's moving along so well that I thought I'd better get back into this motor and do a little bit of work. And it's coming along quite well. And with those extra parts I've got there, the intercooler and the radiator, I have to take those up obviously and get them fitted up. And I've also got some surprises coming. With that intake, I actually got some water blasting done. It was 22mm aluminium, and I've had it water blasted. I've made one manifold adapter, basically a spacer plate to fit the original 1G motor. And I've had an adapter made up. It's been a bit of work, but I've had one modified. And it's a transition between the 1G and a 1JZ manifold, and it's a direction I may go. We'll see how quickly it takes me to get this car back, because I might just end up throwing the original 1G manifold on it and get it running, and then modify those sort of things later. So anyway guys, watch this space. It's exciting to be working on this motor, and I might have a bit of time with the things that are going on in the world at the moment. It's getting a bit scary, And with all this self-isolation, I'm glad I've got a few projects happening I can work on, and maybe I can give you guys a bit of entertainment out there if the same thing happens to you. Take care, people. It's a funny world at the moment. Just take care of yourself and take care of other people. See you.